Hey there, Bill. Hey, Donna. So I've got it set to mute all of you on entering, just so you're aware. So if y'all need to say anything, want to say hi or anything, feel free to hit that unmute button on your end.
Morning, morning.
Morning. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Good, 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 good.
Here he is right here.
All right, cool.
Hey.
We're going to keep admitting people real quick before I get started, because I kept doing that same thing for a while there after we had gotten started up yesterday.
If he gives his phone number, write it down somewhere.
Yeah, I'll give y'all my phone number right now real quick. My cell phone is 817
on social media, whether you know the
939 9855. Y'all can feel free to text me or call me. If I do not pick up, feel free to leave a voicemail. And we'll see if we can get y'all helped out one way or another. So let's see, we've got 11 of us right now. Got a few more coming in. So what were some ahas from our class the other day? Was there anything profound that y'all had not played around with in opportunities yet? Or was that pretty much the same thing y'all had already known? Did y'all learn anything new? Just curious so I can get some feedback.
I missed it, so.
Okay. I did post the link to the recording of it, just like I'm going to do for this class in your group. So we'll be doing that for every class, just in case.
Hey, Lindsay, how you feeling?
Hey, Rocky, I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
Hi, Clark. This is the first time you've seen my
Hey.
face.
Hi, face. All right, we're a couple minutes in here. I'll give maybe 1 or 2 more minutes, see if anybody else pops on. See, there it is, Christine right there. Sarah. All right, y'all. Well, I'll go ahead and kind of start kicking us off. I'll keep admitting people before we start up officially. But so today we're going to be going over DocuSign templates, creating templates in DocuSign. I will say up front, if you use templates in DocuSign, it's like an end around, so you don't have to use the rooms function in DocuSign through opportunities. You don't have to use the rooms function to get all your documents. If you're using DocuSign templates, when you go into the go to transaction button above where you submit all your documents to MCA, when you click on that, you can actually just go straight to envelopes, and it's going to save you some time, is the main reason for all this. So there's a couple different ways that we're going to do it that I'm going to show y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen now. And we'll go ahead and get to work. So y'all can all see my screen, correct?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna move this little.
Hey, Clark.
Yes, ma'am.
Real quick before we get started, we have Roseanne on the line from Tarrant Roofing.
Yes, that's right.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Roseanne.
Let me pop y'all off a screen share real fast. I forgot about that.
We
Thank you
missed
for
your
reminding me.
lunches.
Thank you.
Sorry. Well, I just wanted to pop on here and let everyone know that we are still doing business as usual, and we are taking all the necessary precautions to adhere to the social distancing and stop any further spread of COVID-19. And when it comes to roof inspections, adjuster meetings, installations, repairs, we can do everything virtually by FaceTiming. So we never have to meet with your clients face to face. And when we're inspecting, we can even FaceTime them so they can participate in the inspection. And all contracts can be signed via online. So we just wanted to make sure that you all know that. How many people are on here total? Because I'm giving away a $25 gift card from Uber Eats.
Wow.
So we've currently got 17 participants.
Okay, is that including me? So then it's 16?
Yes, ma'am.
Does anyone have any questions?
Take me out of it. It'll be 15.
So 15? Okay. So I have a random number generator, just so that you all know that I'm not picking favorites. So then I hit generate and it picks number 3. So who is participant
Number 3 is Margaret Fecko.
All right. What'd you say?
Pick another one.
Okay, so we'll go, if we skip Margaret, who's the next one in line?
Roseanne Weston.
No, that's me.
Let's see. Then that would be, let's see, Jose Santamaria.
Okay, can I have your email, please? Because I will email you the gift card.
Jose, you hear me?
Barely.
Jose knows realty.
Like KNOWS realty.
Realty
And Gmail.
at Gmail.
Awesome. Does anyone have any questions for me? We are still absolutely, if the homeowner can't pay, we will still collect at closing. Anybody? If you don't have any questions, congratulations, Jose, and always do not hesitate to call us, 972-470-9999.
Thank you.
Thank
Awesome,
you.
perfect. Thank you very much, Roseanne. Appreciate
Thank
your words on here.
Thank you, Clark.
Of course, of course. All right, y'all. Well, we're gonna go ahead and pop back over here real quick. Back over to Google Chrome real quick. Always make sure you're using Google Chrome, by the way, when you're in command. That has been one easy workaround. I'm going to go through and mute everyone right now. So just so everyone's on the same page, I'm just muting everybody so that we can all hear the class accordingly. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to hit that unmute button and we'll be all good to go. Just making sure we're all good and square. Perfect. All right, wonderful. So there are a few different ways that we can do this to start off that I'm going to show you all, okay? The long way, and then I'll show you the short way. The long way is to go into opportunities here. Let me admit Sarah real quick. The long way is to go here into opportunities. So remember we had, if y'all were on the call the other day on the Zoom class, we had Mr. Fake Client was our buyer. Sorry, I've got a lot of people hopping on here real quick that I'm admitting. So we had Mr. Fake Client as our buyer. So we've gone over here to opportunities. I'm gonna hit opportunities. Whoever's unmuted, if y'all wouldn't mind muting your device, I would appreciate that. Might have been one of y'all that just hopped in here. Are y'all hearing an echo as well?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Sounds better now. All right, perfect. So we went over here the other day. If you were not in the class, I created a opportunity here for Mr. Fake Client using a property that I actually just closed on in Burleson with some real clients last month. So we created this opportunity here for Mr. Buyer, the Fake Client, and it was over here at 832 Adams Drive in Burleson. So the long way to do this is I went into opportunities. I've gone to the opportunity for Mr. Fake Client. I go to documents, get Kyle and Lakeisha in here real quick. And then I went over to documents. I keep pausing, we keep having people hop on. So I went to documents and you can go to transaction right here. And this will pop up what we call the room. So this is where, if you don't have any templates set up, this is where you're getting all your documents from when you're filling in your information, doing it the quote unquote long way. And then also when you're getting ready to put it in an envelope and send it off for signatures as well. So last time the way we did it is we went add, and then we did, you can either, if you have them already on your computer, you can do it that way, but either DocuSign or zip form. DocuSign is what we used the other day. So now that we're in the room here though, we can actually toggle over to the e-signature version of DocuSign. So there's the Rooms version, which is what we're in right now, DocuSign Rooms. And then we can also hop over to the e-signature. You'll notice as soon as I click on this, this is the normal DocuSign. If you ever use DocuSign prior to command, this is what you get when you go to DocuSign.com. It's the same thing. So the faster way now is you can just go to DocuSign, the website, log in. I have two profiles from a syncing issue, but I always select the Keller Williams one. And then you're able to get the exact same page, the e-signature version. And through here, you can also switch to Rooms if you decided to. So 2 ways to do it, but the faster way is just to go to DocuSign.com, okay? So once you're on DocuSign's e-signature platform, we're going to go over to templates here. And here's where you're going to create your new templates, okay? Now, I know it might be a little ironic here because the place that I personally pulled my blank forms from to create these templates is actually Zip Forms. I know we're not teaching on Zip Forms today, and we're not going through their e-signature process, but this is where I logged in to get my blank documents to save to my computer, because you have to upload them into the DocuSign platform to then create a template with it. So I'm going to walk y'all through this part real fast. So hop onto Zip Forms rather, get logged into Zip Forms. Get Rick in here. All right. And then what I did already the other day, you see this one right here, it says DocuSign template forms. Let's see. One of us is not muted. Let's see. There we go. And if y'all wouldn't mind muting yourself whenever you hop in here, I would appreciate that, just so we don't get any warbling effects or echoing. So when you log it here into your Zip Forms, you would click on New right here. This is a quote unquote transaction. I just saved mine as a new listing. And this is really just where I'm going to house all of my blank documents in Zip Forms so that I can then download them to my computer and upload them into DocuSign. Let's get Kyle real quick. Let's see if we've got a chat. Hey, Brian. So yes, we do have our forms in DocuSign, but they are not, you can't template them in DocuSign. You have to upload a blank version of it to get it up into the ability to make it a template in DocuSign. So yes, the forms, if you go into Rooms, like we did earlier, you can do that, but you don't have the ability to use a template, which is what we're talking about today. So I just called mine DocuSign template forms, because that's what this little folder is. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And then once I'm in here, you can actually go to either documents, or you can just click add document right here. So I'm just going to get a few forms today. I'm going to do the IABS, the Gen Info, and a wire fraud, we'll say, for just today to make it easy, for just some simple documents that that we all use. So I clicked on add a form right here. And just like in a DocuSign room, here's where you would search. So I need the IABS. So I'm going to search for just the word services. And there's our IABS right there. We've got a buyer and a seller version, of course. So we've got the IABS in there. We'll add the general information to tenant. Oh, no, wrong document. Let's see. General info and notice. There we go. And then we'll also do a wire fraud as well. So I added those documents in there, real easy and simple. Okay, any questions so far? Are we all good? All right, I'll assume we're good by the quiet crickets. So here we've got our 3 documents right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on each one of these, and I'm going to hit save as PDF, okay? And I'm going to click save to my device, okay? So once I do that, it'll go ahead and start downloading. So there's our IABS. Always make sure in Zip Forms hit the green back button, not your one up here. If you're on Chrome, it tends to be a little finicky and take you back to the logout screen. We're going to save the general info as well. And we'll also do one more and get that wire fraud. So I'm just clicking save as PDF on all of these to my device. Let's see, get Heather in here. All right. Yes, this video will be saved after the stream, Aaron, to answer your question. I'm going to be uploading the link to view this. It takes about an hour or 2 to upload to the cloud through Zoom, and I'll be able to send that over to y'all, or rather post it on your Facebook group, the Central Solutions. I'll be posting it in there. So I just downloaded all 3 of those, so I'll show y'all real quick. I click on Finder right here on my Mac. I can go and I can see right here for my downloads today, I've got the wire fraud, the Gen Info, and the information about broker services, okay? So it looks like it paused my screen on y'all's end. Y'all couldn't see what I was just doing, but can y'all see me now? You see me back on DocuSign e-signatures, correct? All right. right, so I'm clicking on, we're going to create a template right here. So we're back on the e-signature platform in DocuSign, okay? So we just went to Zip Forms, downloaded our necessary blank paperwork. Now we're going to upload it and create some templates. These are what I created the other day. We're going to act like these aren't here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Create Template. And I'm going to title this one, call this General Information to. All right, and then the reason we had to download that is we're going to click Upload real quick. So we downloaded that to our computer, and now we can hit Upload. So we'll go by date modified. So perfect. So we're going to do the Gen Info first. All right, and then you can view that document real quick, make sure it's the one you needed before you start templating it out. Okay. So we've got everything in here. You can also go ahead and set the roles right here. This is going to be very important. So on this one specifically, I'm going to say buyer's agent will be one of the roles because I just clicked that to view it. You can always check your documents real quick before you start typing this in as well, like I just did. So obviously we're going to need my signature here as buyer agent 1, and we're going to need buyer/seller 1 and 2 as well.
But it said because it requires just on those for selection.
So we've got buyer's agent as one of them. We've also got buyer/seller 1 and buyer/seller 2. For this one specifically, I'm selecting buyer and seller, buyer/seller on this, just because it doesn't really matter. They're both going to need to be signing it anyway, and there's no check boxes that are needed on this one. So here we've got our roles here. So the buyer's agent, buyer and seller 1, buyer and seller 2. You can also go in here and create whatever email signature you wanted if you just wanted to type general info and notice to buyer and seller. You can write that in there and you can say, you know, feel free. So what I just wrote in there, every single time I use this template, it will automatically use this as the email subject, as the email message, and as the roles specifically for this one template for this one document, okay? So now I can hit next. And now here you can see, we talked about this the other day in our opportunities class, we've got our color coding up here. So we've got buyer's agent is yellow, blue, and purple for the other clients as well. Sorry, I'll just going through and muting everyone just so we can all hear everything. So I'm getting some feedback on my end. All right, so you can see in here, we've got everything in here. So just normal document, nothing needed up until the very end on this one. So I would go ahead and type in here, I'm going to create a text box for broker's printed name. I'm going to type in Keller Williams Realty. And when you click on the actual text box, you'll see it all 4 corners. They're much easier to drag if you actually click on the box itself. We've got Keller Williams Realty right there, and then we've got my name. Also, this is a little pro tip on the date signed. It doesn't show it until you actually start getting documents signed if y'all haven't been using DocuSign much to get your things signed. When you set a date signed, I would set it over a little bit because it's also going to add a bunch of extra like time and then time zone. It adds some extra verbiage right here that can run over then into this signature, just so y'all are aware. So the date signed has a finicky way of doing that. Let's see, when you're done with normal, can you show us how to add our own custom PDF docs and add custom text boxes? So Lindsay, if you don't mind unmuting real quick, just to make sure that I understand what you're saying. Are we just talking about adding any document for templating in DocuSign?
Yeah, let's say I have my own marketing piece that I want to go out, just some simple PDF or maybe something, a custom document from the lender or
Yep.
any other random thing. I just want to know how to add custom things when you get done with your normal schedule here.
Okay, well, that's actually the exact same thing that we just did on this one. We would just be uploading a different document.
Perfect.
So I'll walk y'all through that. I don't have anything specific to use for that. Let's see. From Christine here for y'all, she just put this in the chat. Agents must put our exact brokerage in the brokerage name. So Keller Williams Central 75. So we'll say for y'all's on this one. So this is what yours would look like if I'm words right here. So you have the ability to change the sizing and it'll remember that and it'll actually do the same sizing as we move forward. So I'll set that date sign a little bit over here because it's going to have that excess numbers and time zone over here. We're going to set the signature box right here. See, it remembered the size. I'll do the date sign as well. All right, so this is our completed document right now. So we've got everything we need right now. You can scroll up to double check. So we've got no initial boxes on the bottom of the page, anything like that. So we're all good to go. So remember, yellow is what the buyer's agent is, and then we've got blue and purple for the clients right here. If for some reason you would accidentally put something like, say you'd put all of these in here as buyer agent 1 on accident, you could click on this, see how it's blue, and you can go over to the recipient and change that real quick. If you meant, oh no, that's actually supposed to be for buyer 2. See, the color changes right there, real easy for you. So we're going to go ahead and save and close this one. And because that one wasn't specific, see, I have a wire fraud buyer. That's because there are check boxes on that document. So I'm going to create a buyer and a seller version. So we'll go in here and create this one as well. And then I'll hop off and we'll go from there.
Clark, once you create all those, can you create a seller folder and a buyer folder to put all your respective?
Let's double check that. That's a great question that I have not tried to do yet. So we'll look at that here in just a minute. Okay. We'll look at that when we pop back out of here. So we're going to upload that wire fraud again. And I'm going to set that signing order. If y'all were not in my class the other day, I made a point to say that I always set myself as the first quote unquote to sign as the buyer's agent. And then I have the clients as two and two usually, just so they both get it at the same time, or you could do 2 and 3 if you wanted husband or wife to sign first and then vice versa. So for the wire fraud, just want to make sure I'm getting my verbiage correctly. So it'd be our seller version. So we're going to do seller 1.
All right.
And seller 2. And I'll set them both as number 2 to get it at the same time. So when I'm done and I say it's all good, then it'll go right to them. And then I'll change this up because that looks a little ugly. I'll do wire fraud warning. Okay, we got to chat real quick. Let's see. Yes, Kristen, this is being recorded. It'll take about an hour or 2 once this finishes up, either before or at 11. And then I will post that in your Facebook group, just like I did for the opportunities class. So it'll be an individual post for me as a follow-up every single time after the class ends with the recording up in the cloud. So y'all can watch that to your heart's content, since we have way more participants today. So this is what it's going to template out every single time I click it and type everything in right here. So we're good. We got the buyer's agent, and actually on that one, supposed to be listing agent. If I had double checked. Get Courtney admitted in here. All right, so I've got listing agent seller 1, seller 2. I'm good to go here. I'm going to hit next. All right, so clearly we're going to need broker's printed name. I'm going to add a text box real quick. And so for your purposes, it would be Keller Williams. And if y'all type your official name differently, if it's Keller Williams Central 75 Realty. However, if y'all have a different spelling, it's just something to go off of. So however y'all need to have it typed in there. So you got your brokerage name right there. And we're going to go ahead and add a signature box for myself. I'm not going to change the sizing because we still got plenty of space. I'm also going to hit date sign, keep it over a little bit because it is going to bleed. And then the reason I have a seller and a buyer version for this specific one is because we've got seller and buyer checkboxes here. And so I like to have two versions of that because I set the checkboxes. So we're going to have the signature first. And we'll pull that down, make it a little smaller. And then our date sign. And then on this one, we're going to also add a little checkbox for the seller to click on once they're signing that. We're going to do the same thing for seller 2. And a checkbox right there as well. Okay, so just this one document, very easy and simple. So you've got in yellow, everything for the agent, and then also everything right here for the client. So we're going to hit save and close on that. So I created these two yesterday, but the ones we just created are the wire fraud for sellers and the general info as well, okay? So now let's say that was all the templates that we wanted to create. Actually, let me back up real quick because y'all had just asked that question about adding what Lindsay had asked about doing a special marketing piece, or if you had something from a lender or title company, you know, that you wanted to add something, whether it's text boxes or signatures, if it was something you needed to get signed from another party, you would do the exact same thing that we just did. So you would hit create template. You would name it whatever it is, marketing piece XYZ. If we have a team, will the templates be available for all team members under the Rainmaker account, or will templates? To the best of my knowledge, Brian, I believe it would be available for everyone if you're using the same one account. Now, I'm not sure if, because you're on a team, if it correlates to everyone on DocuSign, but what you can do is you can also share templates with people, and they can upload that. So here, I'll back up real quick so you all can see. When we click new here, there's also upload a template, or there's shared with me as well. So if you needed an end around for that, let's see, we could hit this. And as of right now, I'm not sure how to share a template right off the bat, but I can look into that for you, or maybe we can hop on YouTube and find a video for it. But you can definitely share templates as well, even if you're not able to get that for your on your same client or your teammates accounts, rather, to answer your question. And let's see, what was that other question we just had? Can you show us how to template the seller's disclosure? Okay, Sarah. So that one's actually going to be a much more cumbersome process, and something that I had talked about in the class the other day. And whoever's phone is ringing, if y'all wouldn't mind muting, I would appreciate that. So I'm going to go here real quick to show y'all something. This is something Bill said he'll look into for y'all. This is something we use over in my office in Southlake. This is Seller Shield, and it's a free to use platform. And basically it walks your sellers through everything that they need to know and puts it in layman's terms, very simple and easy to understand, to create their seller's disclosure. And it takes you out of the process and keeps you from having any liability of answering any questions on that. So Seller Shield is something I definitely recommend that y'all look into, just to see. I believe it's free. Don't quote me on that. It was when our office hopped onto it, which was within the past year. So I'm going to hold off on doing the seller's disclosure today, just because that would be a cumbersome time doing that. But so I'd recommend looking at the Seller Shield though. But it would be the exact same way. You'd go through zip forms. You would download your seller's disclosure if you did want to do it that way. You would hit new, create template, just like we were just doing for the marketing piece XYZ. And so where you would upload the seller's disclosure from right here is the same place wherever you had it downloaded. If it was on your desktop or in a Google Drive or a Dropbox or wherever it was, you would click on that and then go ahead and upload your version. So if I have anything. I wanted to see if I had. So like, here's a Zillow form on that 832 Adams Drive in Burleson that I closed on. I'll just open this up to show y'all. So say this was your marketing piece. We'll just use a hypothetical here. So if you were to click on this, you can see that obviously this is not a promulgated form in the state of Texas. So this was information about my clients. So if I needed to template this for some reason, if I was going to use it later, I would upload this. I would go ahead and hit next. And then I would go ahead and add in, you know, if I had text box here, address here, date here, all that type of information, I could do so here. So whatever you would need to be putting in here, you have all these different options right here. You have all these different options right here is what I'm getting at. So if y'all need to do anything to answer Lindsay's question, going back to it earlier, that's how you would upload. If you had a document that you needed uploaded, whether it was just something that needed to be signed or something you wanted to add some text to, you can do that as well. Let's see, chat real quick. You're welcome. You're welcome, Lindsay. All right, so now let's back it up real quick. So we're just gonna take it on back here. So we'll go back to the versions that we just created. So that was the general info and then the seller version of the wire fraud. So I've got those two created. I'm ready and I'm good to go. Okay. So you can go ahead and click. It'll either say your first and last initials, or it'll have a picture if you've uploaded one in DocuSign. And I'm going to click switch to rooms. Okay. So we're in the e-signature version right now. We're going to go switch to rooms. And when we do that, for all the documents that we create a template for, that's one less document we need to get from the rooms area. So remember, these are the rooms right here. So we'll go to Mr. Fake Client, into his room. So see, we've got the details, documents, envelope. So if you had something that you needed to upload, or have anything written in that you didn't have a template of, we would need to go into rooms first, and you would go ahead and hit add, and you would pull that either from computer, or if it was from any of these other places, you would go ahead and add it there. Go ahead and write in what you needed to. But because we've got templates, we're just going to say today the only two forms we needed to have signed were the gen info and the seller wire fraud. Okay. So instead of actually doing anything in documents right here, we're actually just going to pop right on over to envelopes, and we're going to create a new one. And when we do that, you see use as a template, or use a template rather, is an option. So we've got general information and wire fraud. And so that's our envelope name right there. And so we're going to click use a template, and you see all my templates right here. That was that blank one, the marketing piece XYZ that I was just playing with. So we'll go ahead and select these two right here and add selected. Okay, and you can double check, make sure that everything looks good real quick. Okay, so that's our blank form and our blank form, just making sure. All right, let's get Rick in here. All right, so our forms are looking good. We're gonna go ahead and click add recipient real quick. Now, if you didn't want to use templates for some reason and you just like typing in everything, you could click on room participants. That is one way that you can do that, and it'll bring up all the boxes on everything if you're not using a template. So say a few of these, I would honestly send in a different envelope if you're using something that doesn't have a template, because going off room participants will save you time by adding in all of the initial and text boxes where they're supposed to go. So you can just work on it that way. But for this sake, we're going to go through pre-tagged roles. And notice there are different documents with different assignments. So there's going to be actually more than just 2 or 3 colors here. Okay. So it's buyer's agent. I'm going to select that as myself, because I just automatically put buyer's agent, but really it would be buyer or listing agent. So I'm going to select myself there. Select the agent one. And then we'll say our buyer here. For the sake of this, they're a buyer and a seller. And that would be Mr. Fake Client and Miss Minnie Mouse. Rick, if you wouldn't mind muting your call right there, I would appreciate it. Just whenever you get the moment. And then Minnie Mouse as well. So we'll go ahead and add selected real quick. Let's see, didn't decide to add everybody for some reason. So click on all these, add selected. All right, perfect. So for Minnie, we'll just do Minnie at mouse.com for this, the sake of this. All right. Oh, just added too many of them. Delete her and delete her. Let's see, we got a chat real quick. Can you template a contract such as a buyer's rep where we need to fill in individual information every time you send a contract? Yes, Susan, you can. On something like that, I would recommend when you're creating the DocuSign template itself, I would highly recommend you just leave the areas blank that you're going to have to change every single time. That way you've already got the template created. So you'll see what I mean here in a sec. So I created these templates. So when I hit next, you'll see what I mean. Just want to make sure I've got everyone in here. So let's see, buyer 2 was added too many times. Buyer seller 1. And we still need buyer seller 2. There we go. Are you able to add more than 2 buyers, sellers in case you need a third person? Yes, you can, Brian. I've just been doing 2 for the sake of this because usually you're only going to have 2 clients, and at least in my experience, has been the case that I've had. But yes, you can add as many as you need to. Like on the IABS, you could add 3 or 4 if you've got, 4 tenants, so to speak, about to sign a lease and you need to get them to sign your IABS before you get them into a lease. You can put all 4 of them at the bottom there. So I've got everyone in here that I need. So I just want to make sure I've got emails for all of them. And I'm going to select myself as the buyer's agent. Just making sure I'm number 1, and then I let them all be number 2 after that. All right. It's being difficult. There we go. Okay, so when I hit next here, to answer your question about a buyer's rep, you'd hop on here. And so you still have the ability to add anything else you need. So everything popped in here as we needed it to, which is great. So on this wire fraud, this was the buyer version C, because we've got our check boxes here for buyer. So you can see here, we've actually got 5 colors, and we've got 2 fake clients and 2 Minnie Mouses. That's because they're different templates and documents. So if you're using, say, 7 templates at one time in one single envelope, you may have a bunch of different colors here. But it's still going to send to all of them. It's still going to send to them in the one email, as far as I know. So anyway, you'll see here in blue that right now blue is me. So that's the buyer's agent right here. I've got everything else in there that I need, nothing else to add. We can go in here into the gen info real quick and see. All right, so see, blue is still me. And then also, so they're purple and yellow on the first one. They're also green and orange, peach color here on this one. So say you did have a third client, or say I would have already had to add them in here, but say Minnie is another client. You could, just like you did, add a signature right here. If you needed another line, add a date signed as well. So you would already have them, you would have gone back. So first you would have had them as a recipient already. But even if you have a template with just 2, and then you just add the third client as needed basis, you can do that as well. But if you're working with enough 3-person transactions all on the client side, it may be good for you to do so. So anyway, I hope that kind of helps y'all out on this. So we've got everything in there that we needed on this one. Let me see real quick. Yes, Susan, you would add a text box to the contract wherever you needed it. So say you needed a phone number right here, we could click that and we could go ahead and type it in, 817. You can have the phone number there, and I always just do text boxes personally, because you can type anything into a text box if you needed to add an email. You can do that, click on it, make sure it's all correct. So yes, you would add text boxes wherever you needed to in the document. Set that there, wherever you needed it. Like, so to answer your question on the buyer's rep, you could set that wherever you like. And I'm not going to click it, but I could hit send, and this would send off to these 2 documents to the clients, and we would be good to go. All right, that was a lot that we just went through. Do we have any questions, or what questions do we have? Or where is there a little confusion that I can connect the dots for you? Or was that so simple that everyone understands it? Oh, here, I'll unmute you. Let's see.
Hey, Clark.
Hey.
Hey, could you show the process of getting into the zip forms and how you started those templates again? I missed it.
Yeah, most definitely. So I'll go ahead and back out. I'll just go to zip form. Actually, let me sign out
Because do we need to go through MLS to get through to zip form? I'm not familiar with zip form, so.
So I don't know about, are y'all, you're Johnson or Collin County?
We're in Collin County.
Collin County, so CCAR. So I'm MetroTex.
Some of
Go
us are MetroTex, some of us are.
Okay,
Collin
so I wasn't sure if MetroTex extended that far. So you can go through MetroTex to zip forms. It's one of the top middle ones when you're logged in at your dashboard on MLS on MetroTex. I know that just because I use it.
Okay.
But yesterday, I guess when I got into real estate 4 years ago, I hopped onto zip forms at one point. And so I already had a login and everything, but it's zipformplus.com is the website.
Okay.
And then I had to reset my username and password yesterday just because I forgot it because I haven't gotten onto it really in the past few years. But yes, I'll show you that process real quick. And let me double check.
Yeah. I was going to say, because I know I have a zip form account, but I don't know anything about the login since I've never used it.
Okay, yeah, so we can definitely go through that. And I just see a message here from Bill. He said they're working on setting up Seller Shield here in the next few days. So that'll be an awesome value add for y'all.
Cool.
Mariana, there is on the right hand, on the extra things in our MLS, there's a zip forms and you can click on that and go through that.
That's what I was thinking. That's how I was getting to it. So I didn't know.
I just figured this out yesterday because I didn't want to always have to go through MLS or MetroTex to get there. I wanted to know how to do that the fast way as well. Because I like efficiency. So that was the only reason that I had done it this specific way.
Okay.
But anyway, I'll go ahead and sign out and then show y'all from A to Z how I did that first part of getting the blank documents from zip forms. So now that I forgot username and forgot password yesterday to get all that set up. Let's see. We can download the documents from .loop and add to DocuSign, correct? Since we were just uploading a PDF. Yes, Brian, you can do that. If you'd prefer to download them from .loop, it's your call. Zip forms is just as updated as .loop on the updated promulgated forms, because obviously it would be a hassle for them to be having the wrong documents in there. So you can use either one that you like because it's just a PDF, you're correct. So here on Zip Form Plus, we're going to go ahead and hit sign in. And then you'll see these two transactions, quote unquote, Mariana, right here. So what I did is I got into Zip Forms and I hit new. So I created this one yesterday and that one today. But so we'll act like we're going from scratch here. I'm starting a new quote unquote transaction. So I just called it DocuSign.
Okay.
Tim.
Treating it like a.
Yeah. So it's just a folder for me, basically. I clicked residential because you have to click something. And then I hit save. And now that we're in here, you can either hit add document right here or go to documents right here. And you can add either one. But add doc. And you're going to always add a form because that's where if you're adding it from, if you're grabbing it from here, you always click add a form. And then if we're talking about the contract, well, there's 1 to 4 residential right there. So we've got the 1 to 4 and see it pops in as soon as you click it. And then we've got the broker services. So information about brokerage services and say we needed the gen info as well. You click on all those. So however many documents you did need, and you should only have to download them once to your hard drive because I'd just create a folder if I were you, just on your downloads or on your desktop of blank, forms. And I always also highly recommend everybody use a cloud-based software for downloading and saving all your documents like Google Drive, Box.com, Dropbox. I had this is my newer MacBook, but in college I had one completely wiped from water damage from roommate's dog, tail, open cup, whole disaster. But because I was using Dropbox, I got every single file back that was lost in in the damage. And so I was able to get a new device, but still have everything I needed. And in a business like this, you cannot afford to be losing documents if hardware fails on you. And you can look at it on your phone very easily too. So that's my little spiel and plug. So then we would go in here, Mariana, to finish this out. So say we had all these different forms here. So we'd click on this. You click save as PDF right here. And I'm going to click save to my device.
Would you fill it out first?
You can. I was avoiding that today because I was wanting to show y'all how to do everything in DocuSign templates. Yes, in theory, you could type, obviously we wouldn't do landlord. Yeah, but if you wanted to do your information here at the bottom. because I was teaching on DocuSign, I didn't want to show you all this right off the bat. But
Okay.
yes, if you wanted to sit in here and type in, you know, your side, if it's the buyer, you know, buyer contractor listing,
Okay.
for this one, you would just do buyers.
Okay.
Side of
So
it.
then when you download it as a PDF, sorry, I had to step away. So I'm guessing you might have said this, you saved it as a PDF. Then when we move it over to DocuSign, do we have to put basically a text box field for every single party, like where it says party to the contracts? We have to add every single field for the
Correct.
contract.
Correct.
So if you take a process one time of doing
Yes.
that. Okay.
Yes, and if you do it the one time, it's going to save you time in the long run. Like, so say you have all this information here at the bottom filled in for every single time. Well, that's one less thing that you have to do. And then you could go ahead and have in your initial boxes and your signatures, you know, wherever you need it, every single thing that you needed, you could go ahead and have it put in here. And at the very least, you could even just put text boxes where everything is and check boxes. And then you could even say assign these to yourself as the listing agent or the buyer's agent. So in this case, it would be a buyer's agent because you'd be sending the offer. And you go ahead.
Do we need to make sure that they're not marked as required too?
Yes, and that's something that you would do. So back over here in the envelope real quick, if we were just going to hit next, you'd want to make sure, just to show y'all what she's asking about, something being required. So if I scroll down here and I click on this, it's going to show. So I clicked on this signature box. It could be that one. It could be this one, the date sign. It could be anything you add from the left side. So say this signature box I'm in question. I'm actually not going to require that, or I can. Let's see. It goes from a just white outline of not required, or a light blue outline to not required, to full colored in when it's required as well. So yes, in theory, I guess if you wanted to, you could really just have 2 check boxes, you know, so when you were creating this, say you added 2 check boxes, if you didn't want to have a buyer and seller version of certain forms, and then you could just assign it to yourself. So say I had another checkbox here for each form, and then I assigned all of those to me so that I'm the one clicking and choosing. And so say they were sellers in this case, then I would just make sure that these are not required. So does that make sense? So you would just want to make sure on the zip form side of things that, on the zip form side of things, that you've got text boxes everywhere you would need to type in something. That would be the most efficient way to do this, is to have text boxes where you would need them. Or if you want to stay just on the lean side of things, you can just add text boxes when you're actually typing in the contract itself. If that's the way you want to do it, you really have both options. So we would hit save as PDF, save to my device, save, click to download. So we've got that PDF downloaded. And then I was telling them, Mariana, as well, always hit the green back button in zip forms. Don't hit on your Chrome or your browser, because it'll take you to like the sign out screen.
Yeah.
So save as PDF to my device. So you do that for all the documents that you need in here.
Awesome.
And then you'd hit back, and then see they've downloaded. And then whenever I switched back over to DocuSign, so again, for y'all, the fast way to do this is you can just go to DocuSign.com, log in. Select, for me, if you have 2 accounts and one says Keller Williams, I always select my Keller Williams account. I'm not sure, there was some hiccup with that whenever I was linking my accounts, so it shows 2. But so you go into here, we're in the e-signature portion of everything. And then you can hit your templates. You can see all your templates. And you can also click your picture, or if it's just 2 letters of your name, but this up right hand, you can also hit switch to rooms.
Yeah.
And then we're back where we need to be. So say this is, you know, hypothetically for Mr. Fake Client. Well, because we've already created all of our templates in theory, we don't even need to pull anything from the Documents tab, because we're going straight over here to our templates in envelopes. So we'd create a new one. All right, so we'd say that that's the property we're sending it to, or that we're talking about here. And I hit use a template right here. And that's where all of this pops up. Okay, so this is where every single template that I've created. And if for some reason I'm in DocuSign and I decide, you know what, nope, I don't like that template anymore, I'm going to go ahead and delete that. I can go over here, switch back to e-signature. Or even if I just messed something up and typed in 1L in Williams or 1L in the Keller, just made a simple, easy mistake. You can just go in here, you can click the blue drop-down box, you can edit anything on your document. So you hit edit, takes you right back to how everything looked at first. So if you needed to add a template description, change the title. Got your signing order and all your clients right here. So on this one, it was, so that could be either listing or buyer's agent. Hit next. So say you realized, oh crap, I need to add something on here real fast, like what Brian was asking. You could add, say this deal and a few deals you're going to be working here in the near future, you're going to be working with a third client. So say we had a buyer 3 here. You could go ahead and add in their signature and their date as well. And then I'll go ahead and save and close on this one.
And Clark, how do you assign those signatures?
How do I assign them? So when I was back here, so I went to the recipients right here. This was, so I hit create a new template first. I titled it. I uploaded my blank document from my computer right here. And then I went here to add recipients. So like I said, just for my personal preference, I always set a signing order and make myself number 1, the first person to get the document every time, just off of preference, no requirements. And then I actually type this in here. So for this one specifically, I don't have a buyer and a seller version because it's the general info document. It shows right here that there's no check boxes, just for my peace of mind, I'm not going to add anything like that. So then I've got /buyer/seller1, buyer/seller2. So that's how I created those role names right here. So that's how it knows who is in this. And if I had 3 people, if I had 5 or 7, there would be all these different colors when I hit next. So because there's only 3 of us though, you can hit that top left right there and it's color coded, see? So that's the color assigned to myself as the agent, and then that's client 1 and client 2. And then all of the colors are going to be uniform to that. They're always going to be that.
Right. Thank you.
Clark, I
Yes,
think
sir.
you meant when you're using the template, how would you go and assign them? Is that what you meant,
When you-
Mike?
Yeah, that's how I say.
Like your actual clients,
Right.
like say you want to use these templates, how do you go about using the templates?
Right.
Okay, great call.
Yeah.
So we're going to go back here. So we're going to act like we're all good. All right, so we're going to go back to rooms now. And so we'll just use one of the envelopes we've already created, since I've created a couple of them today. These little tests. So instead of documents, because we've got templates we're using, I'm going to go straight over to envelopes. And I'm going to go ahead and select this one from earlier. So to answer your question, when I went in here, so none of these people are in here. I can't delete myself from this, but I'll do it again for you real quick. I can delete everyone else. So I clicked add recipient to answer your question. And when I did that, I went off of pre-tagged roles. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So
When I did that, go ahead.
Just to clarify, when we want to use these templates, we're not starting the document by going to DocuSign Forms.
Correct.
We're
You're
going
going
to
straight to
envelopes.
envelopes. Yes.
Okay.
So when you're over here, so we came into the room. So I'll do this one more time real quick for you. So go back one more. So we're in the dashboard of all of our rooms. Okay. So DocuSign.com. We're on the rooms portion of it. This is how we switch over to the e-signature as well. So Mr. Fake Client, who I created for our opportunities class the other day, we're going to use them as the example. So we're going to go into this room for Mr. Fake Client. And instead of going to documents like Mariana's saying, you use documents to upload something or to pull from somewhere whenever you don't have a template already created for it. But because we do have templates created, instead of documents right here and adding that, we're just going to go straight over here to envelopes and bypass that.
So what if you have some that are templates and some that are not templates to send them?
Then you would go to documents first, get the ones that you need, fill them out in here, and then say we've already filled out our 3 documents that aren't templates. We'd select these and go ahead and hit DocuSign. Okay. So that's how we get these documents first.
Then you, okay. Sorry,
No, you're good. You're good. And then this will take us over to envelopes from there. And now we can use a template. We're going to use our templates for the remaining ones that we don't need. Okay. So, or that we did need rather. So say these 3 other documents were templates that we already had created. So if you do have documents that you need to use that aren't templates for you in DocuSign, then yes, you would go to documents first and add them that way. Select the ones you need, fill in the information, and then you'd hop over to the envelope and just click use a template for the other ones. And then to answer Mike's question, like we said, always click pre-tagged roles if you're using a template. If you're not going to use a template and if you're okay with sending 2 envelopes, what might be easier for you, just so you don't have a ton of different recipients, because for each document, when you use a template, remember it changes the color, so it'll have duplicates of the client and all these different colors. If you did have some that were not templates that you just pulled from the document section earlier, like we did for these first 3 before we used the templates, when you clicked add recipient, you would do from room participants. So like I would select myself and the buyer and say Minnie was the seller. When you do that, it'll actually auto-populate on these 3 forms, and I'll show you real quick when we hit, let's see, we'll do Minnie now stop. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete these templates because we've played around enough with those today, but just to show y'all real quick, if you did just adding from room participants as a recipient, so instead of pre-tagged roles for templates, room participants for non-templates, and you hit next, so for my end on client side, let's see. Oh, it actually didn't do it this time. That's interesting. When I tried this the other day, yesterday, it had popped up and it had filed in everything that we needed in the correct spots. So I'm going to backtrack on that. I'm not 100% sure why it didn't do it this time, but I'll look into that this week. I'll let you know if I figure that out. But anyway, to answer Mariana's question, to circle back, you would go to documents first if you have anything that you're uploading and signing that you don't have a template for. So instead of, let's see, April. We got to chat real quick. Can you create folders in your templates to keep things separated for different team members? So in your templates, let me go over here real quick and make sure I'm understanding everything. So switch back over. Switch back over to e-signature form real quick. So folders in your templates is Brian's question. It's not deciding to play nice. Let's see. There we go. So creating folders in your templates. So we'll go over here to templates.
Not playing nice.
It's not. The South Lake internet's not being too nice to me. I believe in you. Let's see. Well, y'all might have just helped me crash command. Let's see. There we go. So in templates, to answer your question, Brian, yes, you could click new folder and you could say buyer forms. Okay, we've got that buyer form right there. You could then click any documents you needed. You could select move, and the only folder that we have available is the buyer form. So you would just click that and it would move over to that folder to answer your question, okay? So, and if you needed to have that, name changed and say this was, on your team, say you have it down by John Smith, because, all your agents have their own license numbers and everything. You could have John Smith and Cindy Lou for a team structure. Now, like I said earlier, Brian, I'm not 100% sure if, because you're creating these things in your account as the Rainmaker for DocuSign, if it will pull over to them, but you can share these, okay? So you can at least share the documents with them, if not the folders. And as of now, I'm not sure how to do that part. I'm going to work on that this week and figure that out, and I'll let y'all know when I'm able to figure that one out. All right, so we're here at about an hour right now, just shy of 11 o'clock. Do we have any other questions right now? Anything else? I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing real quick. Come back to all of our faces. Do we have any questions or anything else that I can help y'all with on this topic today?
Hey, quick question.
Yes.
On that, what did he call it? That seller shield. So is that
Yes,
going to
ma'am.
take the place of the seller's disclosure, or is there an actual seller's disclosure?
It's an actual seller's disclosure. So here, let me pull one up real quick, and then I'll share my screen with y'all. Let me see, pull one up that I've used because they just look a tiny bit different. So let me see. So I'm gonna hop over here, see if I can share a screen real quick with y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen real quick so y'all can see it. So do y'all see this seller's disclosure right here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I know it looks pretty similar, almost identical to the same one everyone else is using. It just has bigger text boxes on their end. Whenever they're typing things in, it'll actually make this bigger if they type too many words. And it has its own descriptions. It breaks down everything. Obviously, I haven't been the seller on the end of this. I've just gotten their feedback on it. But it'll break down these things. So when you've got these questions, you know, are you aware of anything not in working condition? It'll break down everything that we just talked about in section 1. And it'll say some examples. If this has happened, if this, or if this has happened, you may want to hit maybe or yes and type that in. So I'm trying to see on this one, like, see, so my client was able to write in very specific things here. Okay. So there was hail damage. She wrote in diseased trees, you know, developing a smell. So she was able to break this down, and it walks them through it. And it's so simple that it's nothing, they don't have questions in my experience. They don't have questions when they come back to you.
Gives the buyer more information too.
It does. And it, like I said, it's kind of an out for me because they're not looking at me for help with this when I'm not the one who's lived in that house for X amount of years. Like, see, a single blockable drain may cause suction equipment hazard for an individual. It just gives them little tips as they're, and see, this box is bigger because she typed in extra things. This is my favorite part of a seller's disclosure I've ever had. I don't super love how our dryer vent works. That was needed to be in there. She didn't super love the dryer vent, but this was a client that her integrity was very important to her. So she went all out, you know, swung for the fences on making sure her seller's disclosure was completed to the best of her ability.
I like that.
Yeah. So, and then it's got its little thing down here at the bottom, prepared with seller shield on the bottom of every page. And then it's got seller initials in there. So there you
So
go.
this would be created through the third party. I mean, we would send them to.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I'm gonna stop sharing. So I'll hop onto my end of the account real quick and see if I can just pull that up for you real quick.
Fun fact: I used to live on Old Denton Road in.
Oh, really?
Or Old Justin Road. Yeah.
That's funny. That is a small world. I went to school at Liberty Christian for a while, right there in Argyle. Okay. If I go on to Seller Shield, I'm going to share y'all my screen real quick on here as well, and then we'll finish up for the day after this. I'm just showing y'all. All right, so you can see my Seller Shield thing, right? Get some head nods, make sure we're all seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So I would just go ahead and I would hit Agents. Oh, sorry, I got too many of our pictures open. It was sign in actually. So I'm going to sign in, Agent sign in. Oh, hang on. Let me go actually to my bookmarks because it doesn't realize my let me see real quick here. Seller Shield. There we go. I want to make sure it's going to the version that knows my username and password. There we go. Well, it's asking me right now to sign in differently than it usually does. But anyway, I'll walk y'all through that next time just so that you can get an idea of that. It's just being a little finicky today. But anyway, are there any other questions that y'all have for me at this time? Just about templates, DocuSign, anything else like that?
That was great.
Good. Okay. Good. I'm glad. Well, keep an eye out for next week. Let me see. Let me double check my text real quick. I'll let you know what I've got.
Next week, Tuesday?
Say it one more time.
I said it's next week, Tuesday at 10 o'clock?
Tuesday and Thursday at 10 o'clock. That's going to be for the next 3 weeks after this week as well. So up until I think it's April 16th is when I'll be done with this current little session of classes I've been doing. But let me see with my text with Sarah. So next week is going to be smart plans on Tuesday in Command. And then I'm going to show y'all, I created with an agent on my team. I was the guy behind the camera this time, but I shot and edited a virtual open house, virtual showing. It's about 4.5 minutes long that we created after the editing and stuff. And so I'll show y'all that one. And then I'll also tell you how to do your own. If you don't want to sit down and do the editing, I'll show y'all that as well. Some options that you have. So we'll be doing that on Thursday. So smart plans Tuesday at 10 a.m. and virtual open house / showings on Thursday at 10 a.m. So I look forward to seeing y'all then. Feel free to let me know if y'all have any questions. And in a couple hours here, when the upload is done on this, I'll post the link for y'all to watch in your Facebook group.
All right. Y'all be safe.
All right. Perfect. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one.